This study examines whether National Millet Mission, launched from 2018 onward and later rebranded as Shri Anna in 2023, has had a measurable impact on millet production and yield in India. Underscoring their significance as nutritious and drought-resilient crops, the policy was launched. Yet their consumption and cultivated area declined significantly after the Green Revolution. In this study, I have chosen 4 states: Karnataka, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and Uttar Pradesh, which contribute 70% of the national output. Yet they haven't reached their maximum potential. The research objectives are to study the effect of National Millet Mission policy on millet production, on its yield, and to find out the key variables driving the change in yield. We have collected 24 years of data from 2000 to 2024 with variables as total production, area, yield of bajra, jowar and ragi separately and altogether. The other control variables I have collected are the change in average temperature, MSP, and a variable for the existence of National Millet Mission policy. I had conducted a paired sample t-test for each of these categories: total millet, bajra, jowar and ragi, and I found out that there is no significant change for ragi, while total millet, bajra and jowar had a significant change with p-values of approximately 0, 0 and then 0.006. I had also run a multiple regression analysis, but before that, to verify autocorrelation, multicollinearity and stationary, I had run Durbin-Watson, WIF and the stationary test, and for all the models there was no multicollinearity, no autocorrelation, and stationarity was confirmed. For the total yield, NNM policy average temperature was significant with the coefficient of 22.06 minus 4.36, and MSP was insignificant with a coefficient of 0.02. For the bajra yield, NM policy was insignificant with the coefficient of 21.63. Average temperature was insignificant with a coefficient of minus 5.27, while MSP was significant with a coefficient of 0.069. Here, because the time span of the data was only 24 years and the p-value was really close to 0.05, we could say that a larger SC has an inflated SC has made these two variables insignificant. The same applies to jowar's average temperature. While ragi, all three variables were insignificant, with NMM policy having a small coefficient of 5.106 compared to the average of 22. This also explains the insignificant change in yield that was found in the t-test. Average temperature was minus 5.3, insignificant. MSP was 0.011, insignificant. For jowar, NM policy was significant with 22.88 as the coefficient. Average temperature was insignificant again with a really close p-value to 0.05 with a coefficient of minus 5.267. MSP was insignificant with a value of minus 0.01. Policy implications and recommendations. So first recommendation that I would suggest is to prioritize ragi yields and production. The NM coefficient was really low compared to the other three models, showing no significant change in ragi yield or production. The uniform policy fails ragi and has a bias towards other crops like bajra and jowar. It would be better if price reduction strategies were implemented. Millets are seen as inferior crops and also were referred to as poor man's food. But however, this inferiority has reduced. It still remains in some parts of the society. Ironically, however, millets became costlier than rice and wheat after the Green Revolution, but still were viewed inferior. This dilemma further decreased millet's consumption. Decreasing its prices would make it a good alternative for the lower income households of India. The third suggestion is that we need to put some climate adaptation strategies too. Temperature had a constant negative coefficient throughout all the models, showing that it has a negative effect towards the production of millets. And the fourth suggestion is to close the demand gap. We have seen a area yield paradox signaling weak demand for the millets. Millets inclusion in other schemes and policies like midday meals, awareness campaigns, and promoting it as a better alternative to rice and wheat can help in increasing its consumption directly. Further research recommendations and limitations. We could also do a state specific research with focus on states like Rajasthan, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. This would ensure a better view too. The second recommendation that I have is to ignore this number. This is not 3, this is 2. The second recommendation is to do an inter-country research comparing India's millet output and policies to other countries such as China, Nigeria, Sudan, and other African countries where millets are grown. We can use the results to implement better policies that have been successful in those countries. One limitation is that we have only 24 years of data in this research. This is because it hasn't even been a decade since the policy implementation. This can affect our regression models as we have seen before. The second limitation is that we have collected only 4 states, which may not fully represent India's millet consumption and production. So, in retrospect, this research asked whether NMM led to statistically significant improvement in millet yield and showed what factors explain the change. Based on the pair t-test and regression, the findings suggest an overall positive effect, especially for bajra and jowar, but with no significant improvement for ragi. The broader implication is that the policy support should be crop specific with higher consumer demand and climate adaptation. Thank you.